Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Game Warrior. My name is Jason.
I'm Jenny.
And today we're going to look and review the Great Wall. This is designed by, now forgive me because I'm going to butcher these names, Camille Sanek-Sisla, Robert Plasowicz, and Lucas Wadarsik. Guys, you made a great game. Sorry for butchering your names. It's published by Awaken Realms. It's Awaken Realms. Okay, so we have a value proposition for you for why you might want to watch this, what we can actually offer you. And Jenny's going to explain it.
All right, so what we want to help you with is decide whether or not you want to run out and buy this game right now, assuming it's available, play it, don't buy it, have someone else fork over the cash, or avoid it altogether.
And just so you know, this is a little fun story. Me and my friend who we play in our game group both got it on Kickstarter. And so it's like we're just looking at each other going, well, we both got it. Luckily, I'll give it a little bit away. We both like it. But we probably could have saved some money, one or the other of us. Probably could have, right? Okay, so let me give you a little overview of the game. So a Great Wall is that this is such a fantastic game, the way this is designed. You are a general working for the Emperor. She's a general. Now I'm talking, the game can be played solo, it can be played cooperatively. We've never done that, and it can be played competitively. And I think it shines competitively. I haven't tried the other one, though I've heard it wasn't that good, the cooperative side. But I haven't tried it, so this is a review about the competitive side. So you're a general, and she's a general, and it's up to 4 players. There's a 5th player expansion. I can't imagine wanting to try that, by the way, because it would just be...
It's long.
It'd be long. And 4 people, it's really well balanced, and you are all working together to stop the Mongol hordes. That's awesome. But this is not, I repeat, a war game. It's not a war game at all. And in fact, what all of us are doing behind the scenes is working together to get the most honor, to look the best in the Emperor's eyes. So it's not just, we all work together to beat the bad guys, in this case the Mongols, sorry Mongols, it's historical, right? It's, I gotta look better than her so the Emperor notices me. So it's this poison pit of rivalry behind the scenes of all of us working together with our smiles on. Mm-hmm. It's a political game in a weirdest way.
Yeah.
And they pull it off so masterfully. Oh my gosh. And so what it is that essentially it's a worker placement game. There's the wall. Okay, there's the wall. And you are working for resources. She's working for resources, and you're using those resources to build the wall and to build troops to stop the hordes. And you're just trying to do it in the most honorable way possible. And if you want to be dishonorable, that's great. You'll probably be slightly more effective, but you'll also get less honor, right? So it's a worker placement game. It has a few pieces that are really cool. Each of you represent a general, and each general is totally different. And there's tons of generals to pick from. And of course, each general has some unique powers, don't they? Mm-hmm. So that's really important. Second, you get these advisors. And the synergy between the advisors, so you can put a worker out and buy an advisor, and the synergy between the general and the advisor is really the key to the game. Mm-hmm. And you can get more than one advisor, right? And so you're just building this little engine. You're a little general with your little advisors trying to win that war for the Emperor and look the best doing it. And so other than that, it's got another little mechanic that's pretty good. Most places in a worker placement game is I take my clerk, in this case they're clerks, and if I go to the gold place, I get the gold, and you can't go there, right? But it doesn't work that way. There's and I believe there's actually 6 or 8 slots on the gold. So if I go there with one guy, I would get 1 gold, but I don't get that gold until everyone else has filled those other slots up. So we all have to go for gold. And we could go for chi, but you can't build walls with chi, wood and stones. We had a guy build a pile of chi, and then he realized he couldn't build walls with chi. And we have another friend, and he's all like, I think we should put chi in all our walls. Good chi. A fun moment in the game. So you're putting your clerks out, but you have to competitors you want wood? You gonna get some wood? I'll get a little bit. I'll put my 2 guys. If you don't put your 2 guys out, because if I'm left there as the only one who gets wood, guess what happens to me?
Shame.
Shame. You don't want shame in this game. Shame. Shame. My son, who's a guy who played with us, went and bought a shame bell. So every time someone gets shame, he rings the shame bell. We have a lot of fun with this game. So it's this weird worker placement game. You want to add anything that I'm with these cards? The different warriors, and then there's an action sequence where in the T order. There's just some cool, unique mechanics in this game.
Yeah.
So you send out your orders, and then based on your honor and where you are in the tea ceremony order, whether you go first or not, and then it's wonderful, the synergies of the whole game.
Yeah, and the nice thing about the game too is with 4 players, you may think that you're sitting there for a while everybody else takes their turn.
This is the best part. I'm glad she remembered this.
Everybody's turn, they do something, but then the rest of their action is something that involves everyone else. So you're not only going on your turn, you're going on everyone else's turn too. So there's really no time at which you're just kind of sitting there passing the time, waiting for the game to get back to you.
I would have really been frustrated with myself if I had forgotten that, because that is one of the most brilliant pieces of the mechanic. In most games, it's like, okay, it's your turn. What do? You know what you do. You look at your phone, right? There's no time to look at your phone. You go look at your phone. It was like, what are you going to do? Because she's got to do something, but everyone else has to do something too. Yeah. I do my action, and then everyone else does a little action. It's almost like if I put all my clerks out, say I put 6 clerks out, then everyone else gets to put 2 clerks out, which is often the number is 2. So you're often get a couple little things in and out, and then the clerks come back to you, and then you get 2. And so you never sit around.
No.
You just don't sit around. Every other player's, you're not just watching him to see what he's doing, you're watching him because you're going to do it. So brilliant! You guys nailed it with this.
I bet you guys have no idea how Jason feels about this game.
Let's talk theme. Great Wall, Mongols, Hordes. I'm thinking it's a war game.
Right.
And we'll talk about expeditions in a little bit. But thematically, it is fun because it has, you can get the game. I'll talk to you more about where you can get it because there's a new offer coming up, a reprint coming. Right now it's out of stock. But you can get it with meeples. Don't do that. The miniatures are so gorgeous.
The miniatures are great.
It's the most beautiful. It's one of the most best productions I've ever seen. Awaken Realms usually does a great job. This one, it's so amazing. You got all these soldiers, and you're like, yeah, I'm going to war, baby. Nope, you're not. I mean, you do go to war, but there's no dice rolling or anything like that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the hordes come, and you have to defend, and everyone defends together. But even then, you're like, okay, it's my turn. I'll take the primo slot with my archer and take a bonus from you while I kill the bad guy and get all the glory.
Yep.
It's a crazy game. Okay, so I hope that gives you a sense of it. Okay, there's a lot of videos out there, and I actually am considering doing a how to play playthrough video because that's the next topic, which is ease of play. And how about this rule book? No, this is bad. This is bad. They dropped the ball here. Dropped the ball. It's not good. It was difficult. Me and my friend both had to do it, read it. We didn't do very well at first. Watch some videos. We finally found some good videos out there. You didn't have any of this pain because we just taught you the game. It just isn't good enough. It's just not good enough. It's too vague. It needs to be more detailed. It needs to have an index at the end. Oh, it does have an index.
I'm going to take this away from you now.
Well, oops. It's not a good index.
How do you know you just found it?
I know, I got a safe face. I got a safe face. It's a terrible rule book. I'm not the only one who thinks that. There's a lot of...
But it does have an index.
But it does. Whoops. Boy, that was a moment.
Awesome. Oh, look at that.
Okay, I'm sorry about that. Let's see. It's a terrible index. The rule book could be better. There's a lot of rules that you can find. There's a board game website you can go to. It's called boardgamegeek.com. Most hobbyists who are into the hobby of games know about it. If you don't, though, it's a great place to go get yourself affiliated with the game. You can go to the Great Walls and find it, and you go to the forums on it, and you can see all of the questions, and you can sign up and actually ask questions, and you'll get them answered. And that's what we had to do to get the game figured out. And that's frustrating.
Ease of play, however.
Ease of play.
For someone who did not have to learn.
Okay, so now let's flip over to her.
Do the rules.
So we taught you, and you've played your first game. You've played a couple games now, but how was it?
It's a complex game. There's a lot going on. It's a heavy game, and they do an amazingly good job really keeping the gameplay smooth. Even though there's a lot going on, I felt that what's on the cards that you're referencing for what's happening during that turn, I think are very, very clear. So I felt like, the board is very clear as to what you're getting at each area, and when you go to certain places, what you're doing, the number of points or the number of resources you have to spend, and all of that. So just from someone who didn't have to read the rules, but just had it explained to them, there is a lot going on, but I think it's a very smooth game. It runs very smooth. There is one clunky part, I think, to it, which is when you are placing your clerks, you go in the order of your cards that are on the side of the board. But when you are activating your clerks at the different sites, you go in what's called T order. So that's just kind of a little bumpy, but there's a reason it's that way.
Very good
and
reason.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
So although it takes a little getting used to, it definitely makes sense, and it adds value to the game. So
there's two criteria for order.
Yeah.
And you just got to know when to use those two. And the T order is so importantly strategic.
Right.
And there's a time to spend your money or resources to get yourself at the top of the order.
Yeah. So, unlike some games, I think, that are really heavy and do have those hiccupy moments where you're like, okay, wait, what am I doing again? I didn't have those moments with this game. So even though there's a lot going on, I didn't keep getting lost and having to ask someone like, wait, I still don't understand what I'm doing. I understood what I was doing from the get-go after someone explained to me how to do it.
Now here's something interesting. We're just going to throw this out there. Because our group was weirdly numbered, we had 7 people.
Right.
Right? So we had 3 teams of 2 and 1 team of 1. I got that right? I think so.
Yes.
And so you and I teamed up for both games. And it's a game that you can just totally team up with. Like we were just both active in every moment. I didn't feel like she took over. Did you feel like I took over? You were out of it. We were constantly like making decisions together. It worked really well. It was a good game.
Yeah.
In that regard. And it really did play well at 4 people.
It does. It plays well because you're always doing something.
Yeah, you're always
If it were one of those games, because it is long. I think with the 4 of us, it took us about 4 hours. So it's a long game, but
maybe, yeah.
yeah, but you're constantly doing something, so it doesn't drag.
It never drags, no. And here's an interesting thing. The first time we played it, it took less time. The second time, we got a little bit more strategic.
Because we know what we're doing. Yeah, we actually started thinking.
Yeah, okay. Let's talk a little bit for a second about aesthetics and components. I think I've already hinted that the board is gorgeous. The art is gorgeous. The miniatures, don't get the meeples, are amazing. Get the meeples if you like meeples. But the miniatures are some of the best I've ever seen. I just watched the Dice Towers nominations for the best categories of the year, and one of them was the best produced game, and Great Wall wasn't on it for 2021. I'm not sure. I got my copy in 2020. No, I got it in 2021, didn't I? The Kickstarter came in right at Christmas. Took this long to play it. And I'm surprised because this is a production value as far as I'm concerned. The pieces of wood, the little stones, the gold pieces, the little chi, everything is just designed beautifully. What do you think about the components?
I think the components are really nice. I think the artwork is really beautiful. So like we said at the beginning, you get a general, I think is what it's called, in the Emperor's Army. The artwork is really beautiful on those cards. Your assistants that you get are really beautiful. I think that's what they're called, as assistants. The miniatures are beautiful. The colors, the board. I always laugh when there's a game where you have to actually build structures. I don't know why. It takes a game from like a game to like
a toy.
A toy, yeah. But they pull it off really well with this game. So you actually have a wall that you start to build, and it has a function in the game. It has a purpose in the game. It's not just this fun little novelty on the side that you're like, oh cool, I get to build a wall while I play this complex game. It actually has a purpose, and it actually plays into the landscape of the board. So I think they did a phenomenal job with this game.
They did. So let's talk a little bit about replayability. You might be wondering, I'm going to spend some money. This thing better give me a replayability. The first time we played it, the entire group, we scheduled an emergency gaming session the next week to play it again, didn't we?
Yes.
Like, okay, we had this big D&D campaign planned. Oh, that was done. We're going to play The Great Wall.
Yeah.
Right? And so because there's so many generals and so many assistants or whatever that is, I had the word earlier, I've forgotten it now, and combinations in that, and so much intricacy. If you're ready to sit down and have an evening, woo! I think it's got a ton of replayability. We have some expansions that came with the Kickstarter, a Great Beast. I don't even have time to look at that. A Black Powder, gunpowder expansion. Don't have time to even look at that. I think there's a 5th player expansion. I just can't see playing this with 5 players.
I could, just because, again, you're
always
constantly
going. Yeah.
doing something.
Yeah.
So I don't think, as long as you're settled in and you've carved out the time for a game of very good length, I don't think the game drags at all. So
it's weird though, something about Awaken Realms with their expansions, I've noticed this, where let me use an example like Marvel United, which is a fantastic game, right? They give you this little base game, you're like, yay! And you're like, whoa, I get 5 characters to play, and then expansion after expansion after expansion, and you get to play with all the other characters. It's amazing. Those expansions are great. Awaken Realms, on the other hand, just puts so much in the main box. It's a big box. Look how big this is. That's a huge box. It's filled with miniatures and pieces.
Oh,
and
you know what I want? What I just found in the index?
Shh.
They're called advisors.
Advisors.
Right there in the index. I found it.
Terrible
Under
index.
A.
Doesn't work very well. She didn't read the rules, so she doesn't know what she's talking about. So replayability was high. The tactics and strategies seem endless to me.
For sure.
Okay. So here's a quick question. I love this. Like, you're looking at the game on the table. You show up for game night. And you're like, oh, we're playing The Great Wall. And you see us putting the little cardboard wall pieces together and the miniatures out. What were your expectations?
I was thinking area control.
Yeah, you were.
Yep, I was thinking, okay. And this is before I really looked at the board, because if you look at the board, you're like, oh, this isn't area control at all. But hearing the theme and just kind of seeing some of the miniatures and without really looking at the board, I thought it's a war game, it's an area control game, it's going to be my warriors against your warriors, and we're trying to, defeat each other. So that's what I thought this was going to be.
Yeah, me too. And so, well done, Mr. Designers, or Mrs. Designers, if there's some Mrs. in there. Let's see, Camille, Robert, Lucas. Who knows? Designers, well done. Well done in like subverting expectations in a good way.
Yeah.
In a good way, because it's not like, oh, let's just do something different to be different. I am a war gamer. I love war games. So you got me with the war game, and then you put this cool worker placement, little political intrigue. It feels real. Like if there's a war going on. I've read a lot of stuff on World War II, and there were generals behind the scenes in our side, the United States. Sorry, our side. If you're German or on the other side, so sorry about that. But we were jockeying behind the scenes, and I know the German generals were doing the same thing. And here, this game actually really captures that. We're all on the same side, but we're just trying to be looking the best at it.
Right. Yeah.
It's really well done. It's very insightful and well done. And your generals get more and more powerful, and you can turn, one of the things you can do, you got all these clerks, but you can get more clerks. You start with 5 clerks. That's a lot of workers, and you can get quite a bit more. You get up to 8, and then you can turn your soldiers into overseers, and they can get you even more resources. And so resources, which are super scarce in the beginning, you can really start to generate them. So there's this up-leveling ability. And of course, as the time goes on, you get more power, but the hordes are getting stronger and stronger and stronger.
Yep.
So it's really a tension building game between the two. So okay, what'd you think? Because we just did a review for another game, and in that review we were talking about a game we wanted to like so much and love so much, and I go to bed at night and I don't lay in bed thinking about it. And boy, did I start thinking about the Great Wall. And we have a little text string on our phones, and everyone's just blasting back and forth. Oh, we played this one wrong. Oh, we played this. And it went to a fevered pitch, and then we were there the next week playing it again. And just people were like cackling when they won. And it was just, like, I mean, how often do you cackle when you win a game? I wasn't. We didn't win.
Yeah, we didn't win. We weren't the ones cackling.
No, we weren't.
So what do I think? So initially, I mean, I was intrigued by the game, but I wasn't like super excited about it. You know, it struck me as it was going to be a really heavy, complex game, which is fine. I like those games. But, you know, I mean, I was just kind of, the way I approached it is, okay, I'm along for the ride. I'm sure it'll be fun because Awaken Realms and makes really great games, and I typically really enjoy their games.
What's this game right here, Jennie? Is that almost your number one game of all time?
Could be.
Could be.
And so getting into this game, it was absolutely amazing. The fact that it was more of a worker placement game, but you don't necessarily block someone out. I mean, you can pretty much go where you need to go to get things, but there's consequences if you're the only one who goes there. You know, there's kind of this whole economy that's happening at the bottom of the board, and then there's the warring that happens towards the top of the board, and at the meantime, behind your screen, you're trying to get your, generation going between your sergeant, what is it called?
Advisors.
No.
General. Sergeant. The guy got demoted.
Your general and your advisors, and really get that, whatever your,
let me look up.
resource
I think it's
generation going
generals.
there. Now look in the index.
Look in the index.
I think this game is smart. It's clever. I've never encountered something quite like it. The way that they do the turn order, the way that they keep it going, even though it is a long game, the way that everyone stays involved, and everybody's turn, you're also doing something. And I never got to a point in the game where I couldn't do something. There was always something to do. So so smart, so big, so many things going on, yet once you immerse yourself in the game, you really start to get it.
Yep. So can you think of any drawbacks? I was thinking the length. It's not a light game.
It's not a light game. I think the only hiccups I had is, by the tail end of the game, I mean, it is long, but you don't feel that while you're playing the game. I started to feel it towards the end of the game. I was like, wow, we've been here a while. And then just there is, again, the mechanism where you're using one system for turn order during one phase and a different system for turn order during a different phase. Again, it makes sense. It's not just a frivolous mechanic. It does make sense. Yep. So that's fine. I'm good with that. It just takes a little getting used to.
Another possible negative is that I can see this becoming, and the group has talked about it, like our game. So if, you showed up one day at my house with a bottle of wine, you said, teach me Great Wall, we'd stomp you, right? Because we played it so many times.
It's
not like
one yet.
Well, it's not like a welcoming game that you show to new gamers. It's not a welcoming game. You know what they call welcoming games?
Yeah, no. Yeah, sure.
Like, here, let's play this new game. I've never played board games again before. Maybe Monopoly, but you want to upgrade them? This one would be too much.
This.
You never do this as your welcoming game. I'm just trying to do that. Okay, so you may at this point be thinking, Gamefound / Awaken Realms has paid Jason to tell you how great this game is. They haven't. It's just me. I just love the game.
It's a great game.
How can you get it right now? So just so you know, it's Happy Easter. It's Easter 2022, April 17th. And it was a Kickstarter. It was done a couple years ago. It finally delivered at the end of last year. And so it's gone. They do not have it at retail. But they've decided, because it's so popular and people like it so much, that they're doing another Kickstarter. They're doing it it's a crowdfunding situation where you can buy it early, give them the money, wait a couple years, and they'll deliver it. Probably won't be that long because the game's already done. Mm-hmm. It's over on Gamefound, so gamefound.com. And I believe it's starting this week. So sometime this week, the Great Wall reprint will come. I don't know if there's going to be anything new. So if you're a new player, if you own this already and you're like, is there some new stuff? I don't know. So we'll have to find out together as we watch the reprint page. But so far, if you want it and you're trying to find it, because I went to eBay and you can get the whole Kickstarter all in with all the stuff between $200 and $300. And it'd probably be more than that. Those prices are adjusted down because they know the reprint's coming. But the reprint is almost surely going to be a year away, even though it's all done. The way things are going in China, which is where the game is going to be manufactured, and with the COVID lockdowns over there, then they got to load them on the boats. They got to get over here. So, and I don't know what the prices are yet. But good news for you, if you really want this game, go and check out the Gamefound crowdfunding page. It'll show up here pretty quick in the next couple days. It's this week. So it's available. And if you can't wait and you got some money to blow, go to eBay, have someone send you a copy. Someone's going to play it and say, this isn't for me, and they're going to sell their copy, and they're going to take care of it, and it's going to look good. Okay, we're running out of space on our hard drive because we're talking too much. So we got to do it quick. Final rankings.
All right, I'm going to give this a 9. I really enjoy playing it. It's fun. It's beautiful. It's challenging. And again, we've only played the competitive mode. I can't speak for any other mode. But as far as that goes, I give it a 9.
I give it a 9 as well. This is definite candidate for Year of the Game. Game of the Year.
I saw that coming out of your mouth, and I was like,
can you stop it? Just
grab a rearrange.
It really is. Oh my gosh, it's fun. It's so involved. It's got so many things to it. It just gets my brain pumping dopamine and all sorts of serotonin and melatonin and all the drugs that make me happy. Oxytocin. I'm getting an oxytocin potion when I play this game. It is fun. And I'll admit, we got beat. So we were in last place the last time we played.
Oh, we got slaughtered.
First time we were really close to winning, and then we came back. And we thought we'll have it this time, and we just...
No, not even close.
Anyways, everybody, you know what I always say? Spring is coming. Board games are great, but get out and exercise. Do some green smoothies. I love vitamins, vitamin D, zinc, vitamin C. Get yourself happy and healthy, because a healthy gamer is a happy gamer. Happy gamer is a healthy gamer. Both ways. It works both ways. Jennie here went on a 7-mile run today. I went on a 4 or 5 mile walk. So take your health seriously. Balance your sitting around the kitchen table with your family and your friends with activity so you stay healthy.